Is this level? Guys, I gotta be honest, I'm pretty surprised this video is even happening right now because I just did not want to do my hair and makeup for this. And I know you don't have to like get all nicey nice for your YouTube videos, but I like to. It makes me feel good about myself. I just didn't feel like it. But mustered up the motivation to do it, and here we are. This is another little Christmas video, so I put on my holiday red shirt for the occasion. So a few days ago on Instagram, I posted a picture of the tree that me and my boyfriend made at our house. It's like an invisible tree, so it's hanging from, the ornaments are hanging from a fishing line. There's no actual like tree branches or anything. And I was filming while we were making it, hoping that people would like it and I could make like a how we did it video. So this is my how to make an invisible Christmas tree. This is a disclaimer. I'm not very good at explaining things. I've never been that way. Like my mind just works how it works. I understand things in my mind and it's really difficult for me to convey that sometimes. So I did my best. I hope you guys can follow along. And if you can't, I'm so sorry. I tried. A for effort. So first off, you'll need some kind of material that you can use for the base where all of the ornaments are going to hang from. We ended up just being able to use the foam poster board that you use for like science projects. The tree isn't going to be that heavy, but just make sure that it's still something that is going to be pretty sturdy and hold up, but not too heavy so that you can easily hang it. Next, you're definitely going to need some ornaments. Just for reference, we ended up using about 80 ornaments on our tree. We also decided that we wanted to use a tree topper, so we got one of those. You'll need something to screw the base into the wall. So we ended up buying these little toggle bolts at Home Depot, but you can also just use some drywall screws. Next, you need some ornament hooks. So as you'll actually see later in the video, we decided not to use the ornament hooks, but I will show you where you can implement them if you would like. And then you need some beads or just something that will prevent the fishing line from going through the hole on the base, and I'll explain that a little bit later. Next, you're going to want to cut your base into a circle. So here, just keep in mind that the largest part of the tree is going to be the size of your base. Now you're going to want to keep drawing more circles inside your base. So the reason you're doing this is just because you're measuring out the different layers and lengths of the tree. See here, I'm making marks at about every 1.5 inches, and the reason that we decided on that spacing is because our ornaments were about like 3 inches wide. So we figured that giving about 1.5 inches space between each of the levels would be pretty good spacing so that they wouldn't end up touching each other. So once you finish making all of those marks, you're going to want to continue to draw those circles. So if you remember, you probably did this back in like elementary school. We just took a nail, put it in the center of our base, and then tied the fishing line to it. On the other end of the fishing line, we tied the pencil, and we just kept making those circles until we came up with our final product, which is the base with about 15 more circles added into it. Now you're going to want to decide what's going to be the appropriate height of your tree for the area that you're trying to put it in. So you can see that we measured the area that we were going to put our tree, and we decided that having the bottom layer of the tree about 80 inches from the ceiling would be a pretty good height for where we wanted to put it. But obviously, depending on the area you're going to put it in, it might be different. So now you'll see all these different measurements that we put down on each of the rings on the base. So knowing that our topper was going to hang 17 inches from the ceiling, we wanted to start our top layer of the tree a little bit below that. So we made our first marking at 28 inches. And then because we already figured out that we wanted the tree to be about 80 inches from the floor, we just subtracted 28 from 80, which is 52, and then we divided that by 12 because we knew that there were going to be 12 ornament layers. Those are the different diameters that we have on our base, and that equals 5. So we knew that each ring had to be about 5 inches apart. Now, if that math doesn't make sense, which I hope it does, but it may not to you, you can always just kind of guesstimate the lengths that you need for your layers. This just gave us some more precise numbers and made it easier for us to plan out. So here we are now cutting the fishing line at all of the different lengths that we need. We weren't sure about how many pieces we needed for each ring, so we just started off with about 10 for the larger rings and then kind of worked down from there. And now here I am threading the fishing line through the bead, so I'm just doing a double knot, and even though the fishing line is pretty slick, the double knots stayed really well and the ornaments weren't super heavy, so we weren't really worried about that anyways. Okay, so now we have all of the fishing line with all of the different lengths that we need. And you can see we just kind of taped the corresponding lengths to the ring. And that just made it easier for us to see everything that was going on and not lose any of the fishing lines. Next, you're going to want to use a nail to poke holes along the rings at every place that you're going to want an ornament. So we didn't really measure this out. We just kind of put holes where we thought the ornaments would look good, and then once the holes are made, you're going to thread the fishing line through. So here we're already more than halfway done threading the fishing line through. Now again, make sure that you're using the fishing line that corresponds to the correct length that you need for that specific ring. That's why we taped it out the way we did beforehand, so that none of that would get confused. So now your base should kind of look like a little solar system with all of these beads on the top with the rings on the outside. And here you can see us temporarily hanging up the base from our light fixture. Now the reason that we didn't want to screw the base into the ceiling yet is just in case we needed to change anything on the tree, add any fishing line or whatnot. We didn't want to have it screwed into the ceiling and then have to take it down. So we're gonna start putting our ornaments on now. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. We just grabbed an empty fishing line and just tied the ornaments to it. This is us realizing that we definitely were not going to have enough ornaments to finish the tree, so we had to go back out to the store to get some more. So now Jeremie has measured where we want the hole in the ceiling to go. And if you can't tell, we made a huge knot when we were trying to get the tree up. We honestly weren't really paying attention when we were lifting it up, so that's our fault. But after about 20 minutes of untying all the knots, this was our final product. We were so happy with the way it came out. It really did look better than we had imagined. And I really do think that what helped was doing all of those measurements beforehand so that we knew exactly where we wanted ornaments, how many rings of ornaments we wanted, and then just to make it feel a little bit more like a Christmas tree, we went ahead and put a tree skirt on the bottom and then just picked up some of these empty gift boxes and put them underneath the tree. So that is how we made our invisible Christmas tree. It took a long time, but it was so worth it. It came out even better than we imagined. So a few things that I did want to know in case you decided to do this at home, because we kind of learned this from trial and error. So like I said, we decided to use the beads at the top of the base, and it took a lot of time to like hand tie every piece of fishing line onto the bead. But the reason we did it that way is because when we're done with the decorations, when we want to take it down and store it, we are just gonna pull up all the beads so that the ornaments are like taut against the base, and then we're gonna like tie it or tape it and then store it away so we can use it for next year. If you used a glue gun, which was like the other method that we had thought of, then you wouldn't be able to store it that way. But it would be a lot faster, obviously, just gluing the pieces on. Second, the ornament hooks. So I said we didn't end up using those. The ornament hooks, I just thought it made it a cleaner look without them. So that's why, again, we had hand tied all the fishing line to the ornaments. If you thought that you might want to like change around the ornaments once the decoration was hanging, then you could definitely untie them all and then rearrange them. Or if you use the hooks, that obviously makes it easier. You decide. And then lastly, once we put the tree up, once we put the base up into the ceiling, everything was so knotted up. That's what I didn't show you guys. I didn't show you guys how long it took us to get all those knots out. So maybe start with hanging the base up first and then putting all the ornaments on. But the reason that we decided to not hang the base up first is because we thought we may have to like change some stuff around on it. So like maybe change some ornaments around, maybe change some of the string lengths or like add string. We weren't really sure how it was gonna come out. So we wanted to be able to fix a couple things if we needed to prior to us screwing it into the ceiling. That totally backfired on us. Unless you want to spend 30 minutes to an hour unknotting fish string. So yeah, definitely screw it in first. Hard lesson, but gotta learn somehow. All right, that is it for this video. If you end up making this tree, then we would love to see how yours came out. Send me a picture on Instagram or like post it and tag me at savannah.says. Oh, and really quickly, I cannot take credit for this idea. Jeremy actually showed it to me. He saw it on a post. Oh my God, where's this hair? It's like, he actually saw it on a post and he showed me the picture, and then I found a video off of like the Home Channel or something back in like 2012 or 2013. I'll post it down below. Maybe you can follow along their directions if they're a little bit better. I heard you.
Want to go get eggnog?
Yeah.
Okay. And hot chocolate from Dunkin' Donuts?
It wasn't as good as I remember.
Okay.
It wasn't as good. I'm still recording. Bye guys, I'll catch you in the next video.